Hello and welcome to today's video lesson. I am Ruchi Simon, Assistant Professor from the Department of Social Work, here before you to talk on the subject Man, Society and its interrelationships. So let's begin with examining the definition and meaning of the word society. Society is derived from the Latin word socius, which means companionship or relationship. Society is made up of individuals who are related to each other. It is a complex of organized associations and institutions with a community. There are different associations, there are different units that comprise a society. Finally, let's take a look at what McIver has to say. McIver suggests that society is a web of social relationships. Yes, it is a web of social relationships, and here on the screen you can see that how a society is comprised of. We find there are persons who are influenced by their culture and they come together, live together. That is what a society is. In the context of an environment, we can understand what a society really means. Let's take a look at some of the characteristics of society. Number one, it consists of people. So when we talk about human society, it is comprising of people. A single individual cannot be called as a society, but rather it will be many of them. There's going to be mutual interaction and mutual awareness. People know that they are a part of the society and they interact with one another. Not just people, but also the different units, like the different groups communicating with each other, the different organizations communicating with each other, a group communicating with the organization, a unit, a person communicating with a group. Like that, there are multiple types of interactions that we find in a society. It rests on likeness or similarities and differences. In a society where we have multiple people living together, we do find likeness or similarities in the way they think, in the way people behave, in the way people feel, in the way people express themselves, as well as there are differences which come because of the culture into which they are born, into which they grow up. In a society, we find cooperation and we also find division of labor. Not everybody is entitled to do every work, and so we find specialized work being done by specialized persons. And these specialized persons need to cooperate with one another in order for the society to be functional in a proper manner. It implies interdependence. When we have different roles that are working together in a cooperated manner, there is also the element of interdependence. People depend on each other, and with the cooperation we can find that society is functionally proper. Society is something which is dynamic. It's not going to remain static. The society keeps on changing. If you examine the evolution of humankind, you will find the way society was functional in the ancient times is quite different from how it is today. And how it will be tomorrow will be quite different from what it is today. It has a distinct culture. Every society has a distinct culture which differentiates it from the other societies. It exercises social control, and that is how people will be living together in harmony. There is a gregarious nature of man, that is, man is a social animal and cannot live alone. Cannot live alone, cannot be doing all the duties, all the responsibilities alone, but there is an element of interdependence which we find in human societies. So, let's try to concise it together. Individuals coming together, that is what is forming a group. Groups coming together, that is what is forming a community. And communities coming together is what we call in as society. But in the definition of McIver, it is suggested that society is a system of social relationships. So now what is a system? A system is a group of interacting or interrelated entities that are integrated to accomplish certain goals, and that is how it forms a unified whole. A system is a unified whole comprising of different entities, different elements, which are working together in order to accomplish certain specific goals. So we have a system as a set of entities that are interacting, that are interrelated, and that are integrated together, which work in a synchronized manner. And why are they working together? To accomplish certain set goals. This is what is making them a unified whole. Here you can see the society as a system depicted in the form of a diagram. And you can find there is a system of government, there is a system of sports, there is a system of elections, everything coming together in what we call as society, social system. So what are the different types of system, or what are the different examples that come to your mind when we talk of systems? Systems are there in human body. Like here on the screen you can see numerous human body organ systems. System like solar system, we have different planets coming together and that is working up as a system. So solar system is an example of a system. We have the education system, which is quite abstract, which is quite comprehensive, but yes, that is also an example of a system. We have the political system, which comprises of democracy, influence, government, different parties, and so many more elements coming to the political system. And now, in order to understand the relationship between man and society, let's try to understand this word. What exactly is relationship? Relationship is a semi-open system. And when I say it is a semi-open system, we can understand it something like this. A system that is comprising of a boundary. This is a dotted type of boundary that I have created. Why is it so? Is because something can enter into the system and something can exit from the system. I'm trying to say that relationships are dynamic in nature and people will enter into relationships and they will exit from it. That is what is making relationship as a semi-open system. It is connected with a flow of money, a flow of energy, a flow of warmth. People feel that flow as it comes to you and as it moves out or as you give it to somebody else. A system of relationship will always be connected with a flow. What do you get from the second person to whom you are related? That is what the flow will be like. There is expansion, there is contraction. So people getting related to you, there is expansion in the system of relationship, and people exiting from the relationship with you, that is the system of relationship getting contracted. It might be something which is voluntary or it might be something which is involuntary. So people willingly entering into relationships and exiting from it. This is what a voluntary entry and exit will look like. And involuntary entries and exits will be like persons who are born and the persons who die. So then this is what is involuntary exits and entries like. Relationships are dynamic. They will not remain the same. Whether we are talking about the quality, we are talking about the number of people who are related to you. Relationship as a system will always be dynamic. It doesn't remain the same. However, wherever there is any kind of tension coming into the system of relationship, it will always be working towards stability. The system will always try to stabilize itself. Whatever be the stressors coming, whether they are there or they become obsolete, whether these stressors are voluntary or they are involuntary in nature, the system of relationship will always be moving towards stability. So what are the entities if we are calling society as a system? There are numerous entities and some of them are here on the screen before you. Can be a group, number of groups. There can be number of individuals, number of communities, colleges, schools, universities, hospitals, creche, government departments, ministries, NGO, court, police stations, and many more units can be there if we are trying to understand society as a system. So as a system has certain goals, what are the goals of the society? The goals are, a society is always moving towards development. It will always be looking after the welfare of the people. It will always be working for ensuring safety of the residents. It will be functional towards the rights of its citizens. Justice, stability, equality, freedom, these are some of the goals that any society will be working towards. So with this, I hope you got an understanding about society as a web of social relationships, as a system into which we have man and society and its interrelationships. So that's all from my side. Thank you for watching the video and take care until we meet next.